Hello, fellow Star Wars fans. My name is Starrapter. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Star Wars: The High Republic Midnight Horizon, written by Daniel Jose Older. This one isn't out until February 1st, so I do want to send a very special shout out to everybody over at Disney Lucasfilm Press for giving me access to an early copy of this upcoming Star Wars book. So this takes place at the end of Phase 1. In particular, this is Wave 3 of Phase 1 of The High Republic. This is the third young adult novel in the series of The High Republic, and this one is all centered around the character of Reath, of Cohmac, of Cantum, of Ram, of Zine Morala, and of a brand new character named Crash. And this one's all centered around Corellia. So Corellia, as you know, is located in the core systems, and for the most part, the Nihil have been all tearing up the outer rim of the galaxy, right? So they have some inside intel that there might be some Nihil activity on Corellia, and unfortunately all the Jedi and the Corsac forces are dealing with another issue on a nearby moon, so there's not a lot of security, there's not a lot of things going on to help out with this investigation. So we have the characters of Cohmac, of Cantum, of Reath, and of Ram that go down to Corellia, and they investigate thanks to this person named Crash's young girl that runs this kind of bodyguard protection diplomatic agency. And so really what we have here in this story is a lot of espionage for a Star Wars book. There's a lot of sneaking around, a lot of disguises, a lot of just gathering intel. But then by the end of this book, it really turns out into a full-blown war novel. Something of which we haven't seen before in the High Republic. And that's really as much as I want to tell you about this story without giving too much away. So talking about the characters, we have that brand new character named Crash. She's inherited this business of this protection agency from her mother. So she's dealing with a lot of trust issues, and we see throughout the events of this novel how those feelings kind of evolve over time. We also have the character of Ram, who we have seen in A Race to Crash Point Tower, also written by Daniel Jose Older, the middle grade novel from Wave 2, and he's dealing with becoming more of just comfortable around other humans. You know, in that book, he was on Valo dealing with machines. So in this actual story, he's dealing with balance, right? Dealing with the anger, but also dealing with the emotions that will cool him down a little bit. And then we have Reath, who, you know, he's been all over the place. He used to be comfortable on Coruscant. He used to be comfortable on Starlight Beacon. And he's just going through the motions, trying to figure out what he is doing in life. And then we have Cantum Sai, who has constant flashbacks, which I really enjoyed, this Jedi Master, and about, you know, different things, different revelations for his character that actually carries out into the current timeline, even for other characters. And we have Zine Morala, who is dealing with this love story of between her and Lula and being separated. So this feeling of attachment, which is a big deal for somebody that has force sensitivity and somebody that's on track to become maybe a Jedi one day. So we're dealing with a lot of those sorts of emotions. So I think overall the story does a great job, fantastic job of just different themes of balance, of love, of moving on, of attachment, trust, some really mature themes for coming of age story for sure in young adult novel medium of Star Wars books. I will say that this book has some of the best action I've seen. Some of the stakes in this book, right? We're dealing not with just a number of characters, we're dealing with the fate of an entire planet on this scale. I really love how we're seeing more of this epic storytelling done. And with this battle, with this war that's towards the end of this book, it is some of the most epic stuff you'll see in a Star Wars book. I'm talking about Game of Thrones level. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings level. The emotions that are attached to the violence and everything going on just amplify it more, right? It's not just having action and epic like fights for the sake of it. Like there's actually some feelings that are attached with this. And there's one of the greatest moments ever in a Star Wars book in this very here novel. I'm not going to ruin it, obviously, for this, is spoiler free. But believe me when I say I had to put the book down for a while and just kind of ruminate and react here in this chair about, oh my gosh, I just read that passage in this book and it just moved me. It was just so powerful because all the buildup that was in this book and actually from the other books. And I will say this book is so intertwined with the other High Republic stories. You don't have to read those, but I highly recommend reading the Star Wars Adventure comics from IDW up to issue number 12, I think is where I left off. Currently, those stories are going to be able to enhance and give you more backstory, more context for the things you're going to react with in this one. I will say I was very pleasantly surprised to see all the politics in this book, right? I really just, it rubbed me the wrong way that The Fallen Star didn't have a lot of politics. But this one kind of, remedies that. And we get a lot with the Corellian people, these stuck-up people, these bureaucrats and everything else. We're added a little bit more complexity. I feel like there's a lot of complexity to all those main characters that I mentioned that makes their journeys even more satisfying and their conclusions at the end of the story even more satisfying. I like the Corellia, seeing about the tunnels, right? There's the same plant that we see in solo Star Wars stories. So we're seeing certain species like the Grindelids, in there, there's worm creatures and stuff like that. A lot of cool just music stuff in this one, right? One of the characters is a pop star. We haven't really seen that before in Star Wars. And the fact that we're dealing with Crash, who is a bodyguard protection agent, right? Like, this is something we also haven't seen in Star Wars. So there's a lot of new here, a lot of new. Some negatives I will say is this book felt pretty slow in the beginning, first 2/3 of the book. It was, like I said, that more slower paced espionage, kind of like sneaking behind cover, that kind of thing here. I feel like some characters, like some Jedi that were dealing with those situations, I had a hard time buying into that Jedi would be fitting into these certain kind of roles, what they were doing earlier parts in this book. It did seem kind of wonky to me at points. I know this is for a young adult, but at some point, some of these antics almost gave me realization that, is this more of a middle grade story? Because then we get to the end of the story and it's completely different. There's a lot of violence, there's a lot of death, there's a lot going on, which is a lot more mature than we see in that first 2/3. So I think that lopsidedness, if that's the right way of explaining it, of like, it feels like it's completely 180 towards the end of the book. And I feel like there's a lot of people getting shot by blasters that are not succumbing to their wounds. I feel like that's a little nitpick where it's like, okay, how many times are people going to get shot before they die? You know what I mean? And how fast can they bounce back by having some back stuff like that, which was kind of something took me out of the experience. But by the end of this, there are some certain ramifications that definitely lead me to believe that, oh my gosh, like some of this stuff can be even better than character death, right? How characters respond at the end of certain things. But with that being said, I will give Midnight Horizon by Daniel Jose Older a score of an 8.5 out of 10. This is definitely the best young adult book in the High Republic. It's better than Into the Dark. I think it's better than Out of the Shadows, I think. And right now, I think it stands as the best book of Wave 3 of Phase 1, which is going to close out Phase 1 of the High Republic. What did you guys think of this one? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on the High Republic, you're already in the right place. I have a playlist of over 50 videos relating to the High Republic, so make sure you go ahead and check those out, and do share this around to all your buddies that are involved and interested in the High Republic, and do subscribe and hit that like button so more people can see this content out on the internet. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.